You guys have been great. Thank you. Give it up for a very funny man. He's got jokes way more well prepared than me, I promise. Mr. Trent Ludzack.
Okay, yeah, it is on. Thanks for needlessly talking me up, because I didn't prepare any jokes. I just prepared a story I haven't told in months, so... good luck, guys. I have about 10 minutes, but I can make it feel like an hour. That's up to you, so... When I was 18 years old, I joined the Army, and I was 19 years old, I was sent to South Korea, which is not a good place for an impressionable 19-year-old to go, because especially in the military, the country has a reputation. They say, if you go to Korea sober, you will leave a drunk. If you go to Korea a drunk, you will leave an alcoholic. I showed up sober and I left an alcoholic, which is what I like to call overachieving. So, a lot of the reason, no, I'm going to skip that. Fuck. I haven't told this story in a long time, I'm sorry. So when you get there, the Army knows that this is the reputation of being stationed here. So they combat that with a 1-week cultural course that is taught in the most effective means possible known to man, which is hours and hours of PowerPoint. So you spend hours doing PowerPoint presentations, and then you are pushed into a unit with only 2 rules. Be back by midnight, always for sure. Don't drink, probably. And that's it. So, 2 days after my 1 week of PowerPoints, I discovered something called the Ville. Now, the Ville is associated with military posts in South Korea, and essentially what it is a playground for 19-year-olds where you can buy a $15 football jersey from a guy trying to upsell you from a tailored suit that's between 2 bars and across from a restaurant, and everything's cheap as fuck. So, naturally, this is just a playground for drunk 19-year-olds. So me and a group of other drunk teenagers, 2 days into being in this new country, decided we're going to do a little exploring. And then we, of course, got lost. Until we found what destiny apparently intended for us to find, which was a road with no cars driving on it, and only pink lights. Now, in some countries, this might be known as a red light district. In Korea, it's the pink light district for stated reasons. Now, as a group of drunk 19-year-olds, who I'm sure that you're aware have no thoughts about sex ever, we start trying to haggle with these gorgeous Korean women in these windows, and none of them speak 1 word of English. They just keep pointing to the shadiest looking man that I've seen in my whole life who's leaning in an alley. So we talk to 6 of these girls, they all laugh at us and point to that man, and we're like, you know what? Night's not over, let's go talk to that fucking guy. So we walk up expecting to be jumped by ninjas, because we're 19 and drunk. And we get to this guy, and he tells us in perfect English, oh no, these girls don't fuck dirty foreigners. If you want girls who will, you have to go down this alley. Now, I said the guy looked shady, but that was before I saw what the alley looked like. Because the alley was about 20 yards of pitch black tunnel with just a vague, faint, pink glow at the end as it curved off where you couldn't see. So we're like, should we do this? No, I'm just kidding. We didn't think that at all. We just walked down the alley. So we're walking through, it gets dark, gets a little sketchy, and then it starts to narrow. And then we're in the pink lights, and almost on cue, middle-aged Korean women with very little clothing on start reaching out and grabbing us, and we start speeding up, and it's like that scene in Disney Hercules when he's going through the river Styx and the dead souls are grabbing him. It's like that, but just everything's pink. So we're freaking out. We go through probably the longest 100 yards I've ever walked. We get to the end, and one of my friends, who is of course the brilliant one here, says, "But I still want to fuck." So we turn around from the end of this alley and find just the closest. We're scared to go all the way back in, like we're just gonna hang out, at the edge of this alley. Now, only one guy wanted to go for it at first. Only one guy wanted to procure services, you might say. About 3 minutes later, everybody wanted to procure services except me. And the reason for this, which I foolishly told everybody hours earlier, was that I was still a virgin at this point. So now, my 4 friends got together, pooled $20, and started haggling with prostitutes on my behalf. These also didn't speak great English, but at the end of the day, the cheap bastards got me a hand job for $20. Now, they all had their own bad decisions that they made that night that they went along with. But as that happened, this probably early 40s, shockingly 6-foot-tall woman grabbed my hand with some very strong meat hooks she had and pulls me through a door into the narrowest hallway I've ever been in my life, into a suspiciously clean room. She says, "Get naked," and then leaves the room. So I did not get naked, because I was very nervous and confused, obviously. So I had to play this move, I didn't want her to think that I was scared. So I undid my belt and the top button, and I just held it there and waited for the door to start to open and pretend like I just started. She opened the door, I pull the move. I am not a good actor. Because she looked at me like, waitress when you walk into a bar and you're like, "Oh, are you still open?" And she's like, "Yeah." So you sit down and then you slowly realize that she was told she was going to get to go home if nobody came in, but then you came in. So it was very that attitude, She kind of did like, she walked in, puts her hands on my shoulder, over to the bed, sit down, lay down, and then just set sights on the headboard, and then just kind of went for it. It was like waiting to get a McRib from McDonald's, Like they're just, you can tell they're working, but their heart's not really into it, So, I am not happy about this at this point. I'm still 19, so I'm hard as fuck, because I was 19, and that's how that shit works, right? Guys? You guys fucking know. You know what I'm talking about, back in the day. So, I just had to close my eyes and just will myself to come. Have you ever done that, guys? You ever had that fun time? Have you ever had to make yourself come with your brain because nothing in the situation was gonna make it happen in a million years? So I pull that off, and she says, "Oh, so fast," which did not feel good, and I got the fuck out of there as quickly as I could. And then I chain smoked 5 cigarettes while my friends were having sex with Korean prostitutes. And then we got chicken. So it was a pretty good night overall, I'd say. I don't know. How long was that? I gotta get that shit figured out again. I'll give you guys another joke in case you hated my story. Did you know that 40% of police officer whites report domestic abuse, but 60% of police officers still know that phone books don't leave bruises? All right, I got one more. I was recently asked to hold a baby, and I didn't want to hold a baby. More specifically, I was asked to rock a baby, which is, I mean, look at me. Do I look like I want to rock your fucking baby? So I just punched that baby in the face. You know, I rocked that baby. All right, that's my last joke, I guess. Thanks for listening.
Everybody, Trent. Ludzack? Trent Ludzack. Good job, man. That's really good. All right, let's get Joshua Harris up.